It's mock draft season, and the draft order just keeps getting shuffled week in and week out, and it just becomes more and more interesting. So let's go ahead and do our own little mock draft. By the way, if you didn't know, next week I'm doing a 7-round mock draft. That one's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a great way to start out November. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice, beautiful football discourse. Pushing out the prospect rankings. If you didn't know, now you know. Check those out, man. Mid-season prospect rankings. But let's go ahead, get into this sucker. And I'm doing this one off the cuff, so I'm going to try to speed through it. Let's go ahead and start this mock draft. I'm on the clock with the Detroit Lions. You might see, oh, what? They have 3 first-round picks. How can this be? Well, for the mock draft simulator, it doesn't register that the Dolphins forfeited their draft pick this year, so that's actually Detroit's 2nd-round pick. So, it is what it is. But this one's super easy. We're just going to go ahead and get a quarterback because we know Goff ain't it. We know it. We're going to take Bryce Young, best thrower of the football in this class. I don't think there's a guy that's really that close. Like I said, it's an easy pick. Just like it's an easy pick if you want to do weekly fantasy or maybe college pick'ems, player props, to choose underdog fantasy. If you sign up with promo code Broshmo, they hook you up right off the bat, and it also helps out the channel. So much appreciated, much obliged. Always bet responsibly, my friends. Houston Texans. I said this in my mock the mock yesterday. It makes no sense if you're the Houston Texans picking number 2 overall to move forward with Davis Mills when you have the opportunity to get either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. So we're going to go ahead and snag our quarterback of the future in CJ Stroud. Now, Carolina Panthers, not a quarterback to be had at this point. Man, I'm sad. I'm disappointed. You can make the case for Will Levis. Again, I feel better around like pick 15 to 20. That's kind of like the range I start to think about Will Levis. I do like Tanner McKee, but he's a bit in that range as well. I might be more willing to take him somewhere in the top 10, but not here. So, man, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. It's kind of a no-brainer. I want to take Will Anderson, but I will say this. If we arrive at this point of the draft, and this is kind of it, we're unable to trade up to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks, then if I know this pick is likely a Will Anderson, maybe I'm trying to ship Brian Burns, potentially. Maybe. Like I said, maybe. Or maybe I'm just like, maybe. Well, we'll grab maybe a developmental guy round 2. It's just like, man, it's just not fun. Maybe you find a bridge option, like Jimmy G is likely going to be out there. So, I don't know. We'll see. But for me, Will Anderson's kind of the pick here. Philadelphia Eagles. I like the idea of reuniting Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis to have one of the most fierce defensive interiors in the league. Fletcher Cox, you know, a dude that's up there. Better years are behind him. They could... Hargrave, I mean, that's a guy you can still bring back. And I mean, they love shuffling in, having a fresh defensive front. And I mean, look what that's done for the Bills, man. It's like, you look at it, it's like, man, they have far too many pass rushers. And it's like, yeah, they all get it done when they're on the field. So we're going to go with Jalen Carter. So we're going to take the top 4 prospects there. Now we get back to the Houston Texans. And this one's kind of easy for me. Pass rush is a big need for this squad. So we're going to go ahead and take Myles Murphy. He's a bit of a physical freak, physical specimen. Maybe still a bit raw, but you know the high upside is there. That's what you're swinging for. Seattle Seahawks, listen, man. Geno's playing great football. No doubt about it. I would try to bring him back on even maybe a 1-year prove-it deal or even one that allows you like outs, like, oh, here's 3 years, 45 million, but it allows you outs after the first year or two. So listen, quarterback is still in the fourth, like still in the back of my head. Is it at this range? I don't think so. So we could probably look at some of the other position groups, which is great. Seattle, they need a lot of defensive help. So when we're looking at the defense here, like what comes to mind? Like, no lie, Tyree Wilson, kind of the next edge up there, along with maybe Isaiah Foskey. You got BJ Ojolari, Jared Verse. Like, edge gets chunky, but I mean, this feels a bit too rich for all of them. At least Tyree Wilson has the length, the production, and the movement skills at his size to maybe warrant a team wanted to pick him like in the top 10. But I think Brian Brazee is just a bit, it just seems like a better pick. Dude's top 10 prospect here. I mean, we could look around. Like, Kelee Ringo is a thought. Just keep adding more talent and competition to that cornerback room. But I do think you might want to just start up front and try getting more pressure. Really, like, even Nolan Smith, you could throw into that. Felix and UDK Uzama. Like, there's some good players here. There really are. Linebacker isn't a thought. I don't really like this linebacker class in terms of first round. So, like Kelee Ringo, man, it's really tough, man. It is. I am having a tough time passing on Kelee Ringo. Added him here. Can you imagine that? Tariq Woolen. Like, you might be encouraged by Kobe Bryant, but like still, like, doesn't like cornerback help is so big, so necessary. I think I'm gonna throw a curveball for y'all, man. I really think I'm gonna go Kelee Ringo, man. He's the next guy on my board. Him and Brian Brazee are exceptionally close, and I get it. You need to add more players to that defensive front, but having a nice young core of corners, like you got Woolen, you now throw Ringo on the outside. You got a guy in Kobe Bryant could play outside. You can even kick him inside if you want. Like, it just gives you a variety of different things. I think that's what I'm gonna do, man. I think that's really what I'm gonna do. Which of course leaves the Pittsburgh Steelers in a bit of a bind, because I would have loved to get Kelee Ringo here. You start to think tackle. My wife just got home, so Gojo's going nuts. All right, there we go. Had to close the door on Gojo. But I think the other pick that makes sense here, obviously, is offensive tackle. And grabbing, and I really think when it comes down to it, like, Broderick Jones makes the most sense in terms of he's a run blocker. He's going to be up there with Skoronski, with Johnson. I think those are the three guys you talk about. Olu Fashanu should also be talked about in the mix here. But the best run blocker out of them is Broderick Jones. Man, I really do not like being here if I'm the Steelers. This is an awkward spot in the draft. It really is. Joey Porter, does that feel like a bit of a reach at this point? Not really. Like, he's a top 20 prospect. I don't necessarily love it inside the top 10. I mean, you can make the case for Brian Brazee here. Get help on the interior of that line. Like, Casey Hayward's up there in years. They drafted Marvin Leal. Brian Brazee, a guy that's very used to playing for three-man fronts. It's not sexy, but I think I might be going with that, because like, a tackle's yet to emerge in this class. So I think I'm gonna go with Brazee. All right, Jacksonville Jaguars. I actually just love this pick. I mean, I guess we could take a look at who's all on the board. Yeah, and I think we're just gonna do it. We're gonna go with Quentin Johnston. Huge fan. This guy's got great size. Trevor Lawrence loves throwing to big boy receivers dating back to Clemson. And I mean, adding this to the receiver room of Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, I think it's just phenomenal. All right, we're on to the Las Vegas Raiders. They could go a variety of different routes here. Like, holy moly, can they? Corner actually is the one that comes to mind. And I talked all that about, not wanting to go corner here. But I mean, it starts to make more sense here. Just because of what's available. It's not like Brazil's there. Like adding another receiver to the fold. Like, honestly, Jordan Addison's kind of interested. Giving that to Derek Carr just to match up with Devontae. I mean, I remember, man, like, Derek Carr loved having, like, Henry Ruggs. And obviously, Henry Ruggs, he's gone. But, like, man, he loved having a guy like that could stretch the field like that. But maybe the wiser play is to get younger at corner. Cornerback room is... It could use some help at this moment. Honestly, even Christian Gonzalez would be a good pick here, but I think they have him a little further down right here. It's kind of a toss-up for me. It really is. Hold on, I want to take a quick look. Because if they're going to take the guy who's more experienced in off coverage, then the case might be made for Joey Porter. So I want to just take a look at how often this team is currently running man this season. Here, hold on. Because I mean they got Patrick Graham back there, but I mean we know that defensively, like, they're very versatile. They're very flexible in what they want to run. If they feel like they don't have the horses to run something, they'll go ahead and not run it. And it's hovering around that 39%. That's honestly good enough. Really. Honestly is. Yeah, but all the corners are doing better. And all right, so we're down to one of the corners, or Jordan Addison. Knowing the depth at the corner class, maybe we could address that in day 2. So you know what? Yeah, let's just go with Addison. Get that field stretcher offensively. Yeah, I feel like that's the right move. The Atlanta Falcons, like, honestly, corners on the table here for the Falcons, for being honest. Pass rush as well. Like, let's see, defensively, like, a majority of their pressure is coming from Grady Jarrett, though. Arnold Epiketti's been all right. Coverage wise, combination of Hawkins and Grant, I think, has been solid. It's really, you look at the cornerback room, like, it's weird because AJ Terrell's kind of having a down season right now. Casey Hayward's not a long-term answer. This is interesting. Darren Hall must be playing in the slot. Oh, he's playing outside. Ooh, I really pegged Darren Hall to be more of a slot guy in the NFL. That's actually really interesting. This is the former San Diego State cat, right? Yeah, I really pegged this guy to end up being more of a slot. Wow, so who's running out of the slot a majority of the time? D. Alford and Richie Grant. That's interesting. Alford's even been good, so maybe Do we go corner? I think maybe pass rush might be the area. All right, so if we're talking pass rush then. Because looking at the guys who's leading on snaps outs on the outside, pure outside. Lorenzo Carr ain't doing a hot lot of much. You got Ogadenji, the former Notre Dame, excuse me, prospect. We haven't seen much from D'Angelo Malone, so maybe we're looking for a guy that can work over top of the tackle. So like, because currently who's manning up that role is Taquan Graham. I thought he got beat up. Maybe not. So maybe honestly this might be the spot. Let's go ahead and send it. Let's send it with Tyree Wilson. Because man, they're talking him up. They're talking him up. They really are. Let me just confirm. Yeah, let's go with that. All right. They're talking him up. I feel better about him mid-round, but like again, this edge class, like it's gonna get real nitpicky depending on what you're looking for. The Miami Dolphins. Hey, we could have any tackle we want. Question is, what do we want here? Honestly, I like the idea of Peter Skoronski. Just with his flexibility to play really anything we need. So there is that. He would be playing right tackle or left guard. So let's go with Skoronski. I like him at this spot. The Arizona Cardinals. Corner. I know a lot of people probably love the idea of like, oh, Marco Wilson ain't playing bad. Look at them pick sixes. It's all right, I guess. Like him and Byron Murphy are like okay, and that's about it. They're okay, and even with Byron Murphy, he's still sneaking a little bit in the slot. We see that also with Isaiah Simmons. Let's see. There are other cornerbacks here. Antonio Hamilton. Tavon Mullen, he's been on the IR, hasn't he? Yeah, Jace Whittaker's just been terrible. So I guess we'll go with one of the corners here. And assuming this coaching staff stays in place, we're going to go with Joey Porter. The New England Patriots. Man, a lot of y'all problems are probably, I guess, stemming from a quarterback issue. Maybe getting another... is this a... Man, I hate thinking about Jackson Smith and Jigba this high. Because it does feel too high. Like... I like the idea of getting a slot guy, smooth mover, but I mean, I don't think that's what I want to do. I guess Christian Gonzalez is the next thing we think of here. Likely. Yeah, I guess let's go with Christian Gonzalez. Get cornerback help. This allows you to move Jonathan Jones back into the slot. Jack Jones has been playing really good on the outside. So grabbing a guy that just fits your mold, I like it. All right. Let's go ahead with the Chicago Bears. And you just look at all these tackles left on the board. You're like, we could get our pick. But like, tackle really hasn't been the problem for the Bears this year. If you're going to go ahead and look at that, like, it's really been the interior of that offensive line. Let's go ahead and look at our blocking leaders. Like, Braxton Jones, like, in pass protection, he's kind of, like, as a rookie, as a day 3 rookie, yeah, he's going to be a liability in some areas. But, like, he's been a solid enough run blocker. I really like the work Borum's been doing at right tackle. Tevin Jenkins has actually been playing fairly well at guard. Lucas Patrick, it's been okay. It's been whatever. Cody Whitehair, he's been beat up for a few games. But he'll be good once he comes back. So you do look at kind of like that center position. You know, if this was Skoronski, I'd be more willing to make that move, you know? So that's just not there to go. We talk about wide receiver. Kind of like they don't have guys to throw to. And I think there's a guy that actually Jackson Smith-Njigba makes a lot of sense for this pick. Because he's coming from, if this is a team that wants to run the football, this is one of the better run blocking receivers in this class. Who's typically taking snaps out of the slot? Because that's where he's going to be playing, let's be honest. It's actually Darnell Mooney playing a lot out in the slot with, they like to put Cole Kmet. So maybe this allows you to put Mooney more back on the outside. I mean, you have no receivers. I mean, at this point, you have no receivers, I guess. So we're going to take Jackson Smith-Njigba. All right, Washington Commanders. And I think you think quarterback here, right? And I think this is where Will Levis makes sense. I think there's a good case to be made for Tanner McKee. I'm a bigger fan of Tanner McKee than I am of Will Levis. So I think either one you pick here, it's kind of fine. Question is, man, who has more going for them? In terms of being ready now, both are like, I think, ready now. And it's just like, you can't argue Will Levis has probably better upside than Tanner McKee. If you're making this pick, then it's Will Levis, you know, like if you're looking for more upside, because like he's more mobile than Tanner McKee. Tanner McKee is a pocket passer through and through, and I think both have good arms. So like NFL top-notch arms. So let's go with Levis. All right, and then we're looking at Green Bay Packers. We know they don't like to go receiver. I like the idea of Michael Mayer, but I mean this team needs a separator because Robert Tonyan is a free agent, but it's like tight end. It's not a high value position unless you got a guy that really can make the difference in the passing game. And to be fair, like Michael Mayer could be that guy. It's just like he's not a guy that like he's sure hands. He's not created a lot of separation, but he's hard to bring down after the catch. A very good run blocker, something they haven't been trying to run the football. I mean, you look at this offensive line and it's not playing well. That they have gotten Bakhtiari back, and he's played good football. Elgin Jenkins, he moved back for the first time to the interior, I think this past week, and it wasn't great. But like, I feel like let him get accustomed to it. They had Zach Tom play on the outside, I think, this past week. This do be tough. It's not like Royce Newman's been that good at right guard. So it's like, we could take a shot here. Like we could. I think Michael Mayer might just be the better choice. In terms of getting more weapons. Like Robert Tonyan is going to be a free agent. I don't know what else they can do at receiver. Like, kind of in a position just to like, this is the bet you made, so deal with it. So we'll go with Michael Mayer. Indianapolis Colts, I'm not thinking twice. They're going to get their new Stanford quarterback here in Tanner McKee. All right, we got an interesting one here with the Bengals. Actually, we got offensive line talent, like here out the wazoo. So we got Paris Johnson, Broderick Jones. We can make also the case for Olufashani. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. With the Cincinnati playing more out of the shotgun and you know, they don't really rely on the play action. Like for Shanu being a guy that's like, oh, he's not put together completely as a pass block or as a run blocker. Maybe going with him as like, you already know you're getting a guy with immense upside as a pass blocker. You know what? We're going to go for that, yo. We're going to flip it on its head. I like that. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. Y'all are in turmoil, but this is where I think I'm going to turn to the edge class because this team has not been able to get good pressure. The question is where are we going with this? A lot of good talent on the board. I think Isaiah Foskey. Is it Isaiah Foskey? I like Foskey a ton. Like, again, this class is kind of wide open at edge right now. It depends on what you're looking for. And I'm looking for a guy that could be like a JPP replacement. So I feel like it takes out guys like Smith and Ojulari out. Not necessarily, but for me, I think it is Jared Verse is a thought. Felix Anudike, he's actually been really good this season, getting a lot of pressure. So let's go take a quick look, because if we're looking for more of the upside, but not necessarily the top tier production, then we could be talking about Isaiah Foskey. Like, he, again, high ceiling individual as well. We're going to be looking at edge. All right, so like, yeah, man, stinking, yeah, this is tough. Like Ojulari, man, he has been wreaking all kinds of havoc. So it's kind of hard to pass on him. Like Felix Anudike Uzama has been playing really good football though. 26 pressures, 6 sacks. I mean, you look at where's Isaiah Foskey here? Yeah, let's look. I think Foskey's just behind that. 21 pressures, 6 sacks. We'll go with Felix, man. We'll go with Felix. Felix is pretty darn good. All right, Detroit Lions. With our first pick, we took Bryce Young. With our second pick, we kind of have our pick of the gander here. We could do whatever we want. Cam Smith isn't a bad option. We could talk about the Brian Branch at safety / slot. Like a guy that's just versatile in that regard. Probably the best tackling safety in this class. So let's take a look currently defensively. What do we got going on? Because they're not getting a ton of pressure. That's a problem here, you know. But, I mean, there's enough edge talent where it's like, you know what? We could take that at the top of the second round. So I'm really thinking Brian Branch. Really am. Because currently in the slots, Mike Hughes, not great. And then you also look at safety. Honestly, Kirby Joseph hasn't been that bad. Deshaun Elliott's been okay. You know, Tracy Walker went down earlier with the injury, and he was playing good football, but I mean, you look at outside corner in general, and it's just kind of meh. So maybe outside corner. You know what? Outside corner is the more valuable position. Let's go ahead and do it. We're going to go with Cam Smith. All right. So on to the Chargers, man. Chargers. They need something. I'll say that. They need something. Wide receiver, Kayshon Boutte. Sounds nice, but I mean, you know, where do they got Hyatt on here? I'm curious. Oh, there's Hyatt 174. That's changing. But Boutte's probably the next guy I think about at receiver. Seems a bit high for him, and plus I'm looking for someone that just like is a crazy good separator. So we might be not looking for that until day 2. We could talk about the interior class, trying to get better up front from a run blocking perspective. so many injuries at corner. I mean, I guess there's not a corner I want to take at this juncture. But, I mean, all this offensive line talent's on the board. You got to make the use of it, right? So I think we're going to take Paris Johnson. That's just a good get at this point. Baltimore Ravens, team that can really do whatever the heckles they want. Trent Simpson, but I mean, would be an awesome option, or even Henry To'oTo'o. Do those guys just make you think, Patrick Queen, where did we go wrong? We could talk about the edge class with the Ravens as well. And also, I actually really like Isaiah Foskey at this juncture because, I mean, you get a guy that's already a very good run defender. That means it doesn't take away what, like, you could have guys like David Ojabo and Odafe Owe on the field at the same time if you want to move Foskey like inside of the tackle. Like, I think he offers that. So, like, we're going to go with Foskey. All right. So this is the interesting part. If I'm the Seahawks, because at this back end, probably the only guy I'm looking at, because if I'm going to take a quarterback, I want to go with all the upside in the world, right? So listen, DJU, we're going to wait and see with him. You're not going to see him in the first round mock for a couple of weeks because, well, he's got the off week this week, but I want to see how he responds to adversity. After being benched, they still say he's the guy. So we'll see him going forward. So we're not going to include him in this first round. Day 2, though, ain't half bad. But, yeah. Oh, man, let me tell you, dude. Let me tell y'all. I'm going to vent real quick. Immediately after he gets benched in that Syracuse game, everybody wants to suddenly come out of the woodwork and be like, oh, look at that. What a terrible eval. And act like he wasn't leading college football in big-time throws prior to the Syracuse game. Want to act like he only had, like he didn't have only 3, turnover-worthy plays prior to the Syracuse game. When you look at a guy like Will Levis, who wishes he had that many big-time throws. I literally, I think DJU has 7 times more big-time throws than Will Levis, while Will Levis has twice as many turnover-worthy plays. So it's like, yo, you want to come out and talk all that, like, you could come and bring that respectfully to me, but you could talk all that mess, you can get out of here with that. Because I'm bringing the hate back. Like, oh, man, want to act like, oh, the only game that only mattered was the Syracuse game. Like, this guy didn't put up big performances against Wake Forest. Like, he didn't put up big performances against, who was that other good ACC team? I guess NC State, technically, not so much. But he was good, solid against Florida State. Like, just stop. But yeah, no, we're not doing that. Like, Anthony Richardson is so interesting here. Like, you could sit him, but he's such an enigma, and he'd be so much different. Can you imagine that? Oh. But I think with just the edge class being really good here, we might just stick with edge rusher. The picks here are either Jared Verse, Nolan Smith, or BJ Ojolari. And I think what separates what they probably want to do here is who's the better run defender, which it's Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith is actually a really good run defender. So I think we'll go with him there. Wow, did we literally draft just Georgia guys for the Seahawks? I guess that's not a bad route to go. Now we're here with Tennessee. Again, I would love a separator for Tennessee, but like, there isn't that guy here. Like Josh Downs is an interesting thought. He's twitching and whatnot, but I feel like he kind of ends up being more of a slot guy. So what do we do here? I think it's a good spot to look at tackle. I really do. Like, I mean, I guess we could look at how their tackle's been performing recently. Where are you at, Tennessee? Right here. Because Derrick Henry has been running the football. I mean, it's not been pretty all the time, but he's been running well. But, like, what they've had Dennis Staley going out there with Taylor Lewan down, and that's just been awful. Surprised. Oh, they're giving. I mean, Quentin Ray Duns has gotten a few looks at guard, but man, that hasn't been good. That was really with Nate Davis down. And Nate Davis, man, that's a guy to keep for the future. Nate Davis is playing really good was playing really good football. So I guess tackle makes a ton of sense. Broderick Jones, he's a really good run blocker. It kind of fits your fits what you want. So I guess we'll go with that there. All right. We got the New York Football Jets. And it could go a variety of different ways. I like I actually really like Trent Simpson here. Getting that guy that could be the Fred Warner for your defense. But I think Brian Branch is just too good. He's a better player too, in my opinion. Or at least I'm going to have him higher on the board. He immediately takes over for Marcus Joyner. So, bam, we're going to do that. The Dallas Cowboys, Bijan Robinson. It's too easy. You got Tony Pollard as a free agent, and you want to get off that Zeke contract. So Bijan's there. And listen, Bijan falls to 26 because it's running back value, man. I'm looking for more valuable positions. And I mean, I guess you can make a case here for the Ravens, but I mean, they get success out of whatever. Like J.K. Dobbins being down, but like Gus Edwards comes back. It's like, oh, hey, watch it. I'm here. The week before it was Kenny and Drake. It's like, you don't have to invest in the running back position. Like, look at it. Yeah. Like Seahawks, they have Kenneth Walker. You got the Jets, they have Breece Hall, Derrick Henry. You can actually make a really good case here for the Chargers with Eckler. Probably get out of his contract not after this season, but the season after. So you can make a really good case there. But I feel like there's just bigger needs than a running back if you're trying to close that window. Tampa Bay, the reason they can't run the football, it's not because they're running backs. That offensive interior is playing really bad. So it's like where does he really fit into all this? Where does he go, you know? So I don't know. It's kind of tough. I think the bet, like Tampa Bay could make sense. Chargers makes sense. Baltimore makes sense, but I just feel really good about him here for Dallas. All right, so a suggestion y'all have made, and I actually like that, is taking the shot on Kayshon Boutte, getting this guy that's really good after the catch, pairing him up with fellow former LSU Tiger Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen's up there, and could be a cap casualty after the season. So I like that. I actually really like that call from y'all. All right, Kansas City Chiefs. Could go receiver here, but it would have been Boutte, and he's gone. So, sorry, I was preoccupied with something. So I'm kind of curious, where else can we go? The defensive interior class is actually kind of a banger at this point. Gervin Dexter is looking really good there. I think that's the pick. Next to Chris Jones, you got Nadi, who's more of a run defender, and then Whedon, who's a bit undersized. He's kind of your pass rushing guy, so he's more situational. So I like the idea of Gervin Dexter here. He's been really good, really dominant. Siaki Ika is probably the other guy too, so tough call. Anthony Richardson feels so tempting to take here for the Giants, but you know what? Let's just act like he doesn't come out. Like, quarterback is it, right? Quarterback's it. Like, the guys, like, honestly, Hendon Hooker's kind of a consideration here, you know? Just getting a guy that could effectively, efficiently run your offense. And no lie, what Brian Daboll does offensively with this team is really no different from what he's seeing like at Tennessee right now. Like, the whole idea to the offense is to create a lot of space for your playmakers. So when you get the ball to them, they can create after the catch. So like Hendon Hooker's not a bad option here. He really isn't. Like it would be literally plug and play. And you know what? I don't want to bring back Daniel Jones. Like I know he's playing good football. There's an argument be made to bring back Daniel Jones. Like that's just me personally. But there really is an argument to be made to bring back Daniel Jones. And I think we're going to go with that argument. So what's the next thing on board? It's probably corner. But corners here don't really fit what I'm looking for. Honestly, Eli Ricks, dude, he just clapped back. Eli Ricks just clapped back. Had a big game against Mississippi State. Could be back into the first round fold if he continues that. Like, I didn't even think about him a bit earlier. Because these other guys are like, they hover around top 50, top 75. Clark Phillips, but he doesn't fit the scheme. I think I'm going to go with Eli Ricks. I think we're going to do that. Send it, dude. Send it. He got the start and he's playing now. He's playing. Buffalo Bills. You can really go wherever you want. I think Antonio Johnson's a really good option here. I really do. There's a case to be made for linebacker. And honestly, like Trent Simpson is kind of what they were hoping to get at Tremaine Edmonds. So that could be it. I think we're going to go with that. I'm kind of leaning Henry To'oTo'o too. Like I said, I'm not wild about these linebackers though. And safety does make a lot of sense. I'm going to go with Trent Simpson. All right, Philadelphia Eagles. We took Jalen Carter. And now we got an awesome Antonio Johnson sitting right here for us who fits our scheme. I'm trying to think if I want to do anything else. Do I want to go in on the pass rush? Jared Verse here being here is just like nuts. Him and BJ Ojolari. Those are just two really good players I would love to get. But I think I'm probably going to go with Antonio Johnson. You can make a case for Clark Phillips, but I think I'm going to go with Johnson here. And then the Detroit Lions, this is their first pick in the second round. So we got Young, we got Smith. We were lucky. We were right that, hey, look, we had, sorry, Gojo. I'll tell you later what the Chiefs got. But yeah, you're looking here and you still got really good, edge talent. Like Andre Carter is another guy you can consider if you want to develop him. I think Jared Verse might be more of the guy though that you want. BJ Ojolari's got the production, but he's more Yannick Ngakoue. So I think we're gonna go with Jared Verse. Gonna save that. Look at that. That wasn't long at all. But I mean, I was doing it off the cuff. I was trying to walk y'all through my picks. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I think I'm going to go ahead and do this real quick. That way y'all can get a good look at all this. Let me get this out the way. So this is what we did. For all intents and purposes, I thought I think it did a good job here trying to talk our picks out. Yeah, it's crazy. The tackles really did fall. Like Paris Johnson be able to go to 21. You got Broderick Jones here at 24. Olufoshanu. Like, and try to make good cases for all of them. So I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.